Pete Cann is the laughter man. I mean that figuratively and literally. He calls himself #the laughter man. You can look it up. And he is a laughter yoga instructor, i.e. a laughter yogi. And it's pretty amazing what he does and what laughter can do for you. Laughter can be a practice like anything else. Sometimes you have to kind of force yourself into that space, but imagine how you feel when you're watching a great comedy or watching a comedian, how that builds on itself. That's Pete's goal, is to get people feeling better. Fighting depression is something we talk about in this episode. His own backstory is something we talk about, but he's a fascinating guy. So give him your attention and your good humor and your positive vibes, and look for some links that he included in the show notes at goodeyepodcast.com. So without further ado, here is the laughter man, Pete Cann, on today's Good Eye Podcast. Rolling here.
My first question.
Yeah.
Is this going to be visual as well, or is it just audio?
I think it'll be just audio. I may take a couple screenshots for Instagram, things like that. But we'll just do the audio.
That's cool. I just like to check whether I need to go and put my shirt on, but that's fine. I don't need to do that.
I see you've put a shirt on. Thank you for that.
Yeah, yes. Well, I can take it off.
It's up to you, man. It's cool here.
It's really
casual.
It's so hot here, mate. It's so hot. I think the thing is with the UK is we like to moan about the weather. Whether it's raining, we moan it's raining. And at the moment, it's like, it's nearly 30 degrees here today. And it's just like, so hot, but it's all good.
My grandfather used to say the weather should be praised or ignored.
Oh. Exactly. It's so true. The good thing about weather is it gives you something to talk about when you first start chatting to somebody, because you've got things in common. But talking of weather, can you hear my fan? There's a fan.
I cannot.
I'm going to turn it up then.
So considerate.
How about now?
No, man, you're good. Are you using a noise gate or something? I don't hear anything over there.
No, just my snowball.
Yeah. No, it sounds great.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah. Cool. Perfect.
Well, I'm rolling here, and we were talking just a second ago. I wanted to ask you. You said you actually left your meal to come do this interview. I appreciate that, although it's not expected. If you had shot me a text and say, "I'm eating," bug off, then I'd have been like, okay, we'll do it later. But let me ask you, I'm finding that people, and you as the laughter man, perfect person to ask this, I'm finding that people are irritated and short with people in the service industry, which is pretty much exactly the opposite of the way it should be. Number one, because they've been through everything we've been through. Number two, they're trying to get back out into this industry, serving people after a year of being shut down, potentially with no job. And number three, a lot of them are doing this for the first time because these service jobs are becoming hard to fill, or owners are finding they're hard to fill. Are you finding that as well over in your neck of the woods?
I run a chef agency as well. Have I told you that?
Yeah, you did. You did in our pre-interview.
Yeah, so completely. So there's no staff in hospitality. We're struggling as a business to find chefs at the moment. And you're right. The service, they've been, like you say, shut down for a year. Longer than a year. Don't get me wrong. We weren't waiting that long for my food. It was all fine, but I personally don't get frustrated because actually I'm from the game, I know how it is. Mm-hmm. And there's a line though, Jay, there is a line where it's like, right, okay, I'm going to say something now because it's been a little bit too long, and it's not to try and get anything free off the bill or anything like that. It's usually when I speak up, it's to give the feedback, to get to the manager and just say, look, I'm not saying this to get any money off. I'm just saying, look, if you do it this way, it might be a bit more efficient. And then they look at me and go like, who the hell are you to tell me that? And I'm like, well, I've been doing it for a few years. So it's, but I think also over the UK, it's not, it's not compulsory to tip. So it's, but I always do, again, I always 10% is the minimum I will leave, because again, from the industry, I've worked the tables. I know what it's like when you work hard on a table of 7 people and then they walk out without anything, and you're just like, that was a long time I spent. So, but yeah, in the long answer to your question, yes.
That's unfortunate. I understand people get frustrated. They've been through a lot, but we're all in this together, and everybody, especially people in the service industry, are on the front line. I would say just take a deep breath, give them an extra minute or two more than you otherwise would, because they're likely training, regardless of whether they were in the industry or not. They're probably out there trying to keep this together like the rest of us. But anyway, I was just curious.
Keep floating as well. Again, going back to the chef side, there's pubs at the moment that can't find chefs. We can't find them chefs. And they're at the point where they're in the kitchen themselves, the owners, and that's not where they want to be. They want to be out front of house and entertaining. But there's people that can't open because they haven't got the staff, and it's just like it's been a long time coming in the UK, where I believe hospitality pay wage is gonna go up. It's gonna have to go up to try and attract new blood into the industry, because it's full of the old hats are very much like, if this is someone posted today in a group that I'm in that back in 1995 as a grill chef they were on £9.20 an hour. 2021 £9.80 an hour. That's the difference in that. It's like it's crazy, and it's there's lots of hospitality is just very much stuck in the Stone Age. It's really hasn't been brought forward, and I believe that COVID's going to make a big impact onto these companies, and ultimately you go out for dinner and your bill was maybe $80-$90, where it's going to be $110 now. That's just how it is. And as a consumer you might at first get a little bit, well, it's gone up that much, but then actually that's economics, isn't it, really? So it's But anyway, it's all about laughter, Jay. Come on, it's all about laughter.
Well, that actually sets me up perfectly for a nice segue, because people can use laughter now perhaps more than ever, and you are quite literally the laughter man. I was really interested to talk to you, and we did have a pre-interview, a pre-conversation to set this up, and I was really taken with your vibe and your approach, and I know it doesn't come easy. You might be the laughter man, the laughter guy, but it's something like anything else that you have to work at. I like to say everything is a practice. So tell us how you got here into laughter yoga and what your focus is now, your backstory. Also, you said you were an open book, and I love your story because it's inspirational, but take us through a little bit of that.
Jay, I will take you as soon as you press record.
I pressed record about 8 minutes ago.
It's not showing on my. It's not showing on my thing.
No, I record it into audio software.
Okay.
I don't trust Zoom at all.
Oh, brilliant! Well, there you go. Then I'm obviously not a
recording in progress.
To make you feel better, I'm going to go ahead and record.
Thank you. Right, perfect. What was the question?
How did you get here, and what is your backstory other than the hospitality and chef industry?
So how did I get to become the laughter man?
Yeah,
is the question. That has completely thrown me. Honestly, I was just like, is he recording? It sounds like he's interviewing me already.
Thank you for looking out, though. Thank you for looking out.
That's all right. That's fine. That's fine. It's the hospitality thread in me.
That's right.
So 2016 was when I discovered laughter yoga as a thing. So I was at a festival called WOMAD in the southwest of the UK. I was walking through the Arboretum, heard laughter, thought there's a comedian, let's go and see who's on stage. Walk around the corner, 100 people lying on the floor laughing. And I was just like, this is crazy. I know I'm at a festival, but what is going on? And it basically, there was a sign saying laughter yoga daily at 11:30. So I went and saw Chloe, my wife, and the kids. And I said, do you know what, Daddy's going to go and do laughter yoga tomorrow. Does anyone want to come? And they were like, no, go on, Pete, go and enjoy yourself. So so I turned up on this day, the next day at 11:30. Did lots of different breathing and laughing exercises, and I'm sure we'll cover a few of those in a little bit later. But the lying down bit's the end. So you start doing these laughing and breathing exercises, and your body doesn't know the difference between fake and real laughter. So actually, after about 5 minutes of fake laughing, the real laughter started coming. So after doing this for 30 minutes, then lying down, just couldn't stop laughing. And when Steve, who was running it at the time, got us all to just like, right, just calm down, everybody relax. And then it's like, right, if anyone's got any last giggles, just let them out. And this lady next to me went like that. And I was just like, boom, I was off again. And it was about 15 minutes of this uncontrollable laughter. And at the end of a laughter yoga session, you do a meditation. So Steve ran us through this grounding meditation. And I sat back up in the field and I felt high. I felt really energized. I felt really clean in the mind. And I just couldn't believe how you can make yourself feel from actually having a full laughter episode, I suppose. And I remember vividly walking around, because the kids' field was just around the corner. That's where Chloe and the kids were. I walk around the corner, I find them. I'm just like wide-eyed, just looking at her. And Chloe's just like, what are you on? I was like, this is just laughter. And she's like, no, seriously, it's 12:30. What have you been doing? I was like, nothing. I'm literally just laughing. And that was the start. So 2016 was when I first did it. And then the following year, 2017, went back to the same festival, which we go to every year. And I did all 4 days. So I did all 4 sessions in the day. And then there was an intimate one in a TP. So there was like, I think it was about 15 of us in this TP. And it was just a magical festival for me. I was just really just loving life. And I just dived in harder with Steve, who was running at the time. And I said, look, I remember there was a band on, and I caught him, like I saw him. I was like, I'm going to go and chat to him, and just chatting away. And I was like, right, I need to know more. How do I get involved? How do I do this? I could feel my energy has risen. And yeah, and then sort of the rest, I suppose, a little bit history, because 2018 there was the festival was still on, but Steve had stepped down from running it. He didn't want to do it anymore, so there was a big gap, and I was a little bit upset, really, because I was like, oh, I was really looking forward to doing the laughter this year. So then in 2019 I did a laughter session at a retreat with some other business owners that I knew. We went away for a weekend. And I said to them, look, do you mind me running this laughter session? I didn't know what I was doing. I just went on YouTube, just learned a few things. I thought, right, that's how you're doing it. Watched a few clips. And I had all these business owners, like, so, you know, some of the multimillionaires just there, just like crying with laughter on the floor. And it was amazing. It just set the whole weekend up for us. And that evening we had because it was done in January, it was very much like, right, what are you going to do this year? What's the one thing you want to achieve for yourself this year? And I said, I want to be a laughter leader, and I want to create my own little laughter group. And they were like, everybody was just like, you got to do this. And so I went and learned how to do it. My first job was 150 people, which was amazing. And then the WOMAD festival, Steve, like I said, stepped down. So I ended up running that in 2019. So I had nearly 200 people around me. And Jay, honestly, it was just having that laughter energy just around you. And don't get me wrong, I was really, I was bricking it a little bit, just looking at all these different people, just going, right, they're waiting for me to just do this. But it's just been an amazing ride. And then obviously COVID came along, and obviously that, as I found out, you were recording quite early on, so about my chef industry, chef business. So that sort of got hit massively during COVID. As in overnight, we lost probably 3/4 of our business. And I knew then that I needed to laugh more, because I knew how it helped me. And so I started laughing with some other laughter yogis online. And it really helped me the first couple of weeks, because there was times where we had tears. There was times when I was shouting in pillows because of just the way everything just been ripped out of us. And I just, like I say, just started laughing, because it wasn't because it was funny. It was because I know how it made me feel mentally, just being in a higher vibration. And a couple of weeks into it, I was just like, wait, this works online. This works. people are laughing and people are getting the benefit from this. So I just started reaching out to some business owners I knew and offered it as a team meeting. I said, look, let me come along just to trial it out a little bit more. And then I got a paid gig, and then next thing, the Laughter Man was born, and there you go. Thank you very much for having me, Jay.
Well, you mentioned business leaders and businessmen several times. Do you find when you get in front of a group sometimes that some people are resistant to it? And why do you think that is, that people are, I guess it's vulnerability. People are sometimes unwilling or afraid to laugh in the presence of others, especially if it's forced and it's not just a joke.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when we laugh and actually get into that uncontrollable laughter, you're not controlled. You're not in control of anything. You're literally in the present right there. And I find, especially women are a lot more at ease being able to laugh with each other and just laugh openly. Whereas I think men want to be more in control of themselves. So the resistance is definitely there. And it's not just men, there's obviously there are like adults just generally like, what you want me to be childlike, you want me to play, you want me to laugh. It's like, I don't want to laugh for no reason. It's just like, but why would you not want to laugh when the benefits are, it reduces our stress and anxiety, it connects us, it releases endorphins, it's like got so much positive effects, so many positive effects. Then it's just, I still personally don't understand why people wouldn't want to feel like this. If that it's a bit of a bit crazy, but I think it's just we get programmed over life. When we were children, there's been studies to prove that children laugh 200 to 300 times a day, and as adults, maybe 10.
Yeah.
It's just like, you just think about like when we were at school, and I mean, you walk past a playground at lunchtime and all you hear is laughter and joy. That's what you hear. You walk past a cafeteria at lunchtime in an office, you don't hear nothing. You can feel the tension.
Yeah.
It's...
How about yourself? Say you're heading into a class. Maybe you got some stuff on your mind. You can't possibly always feel like laughing, but you got to show up. Do you have to do exercises personally, or you just know at this point, once I start getting into it, it's going to take, the laughter is going to take over? The hat?
It's the hat, man. It's the hat, Jay. As soon as, so a quick story back to the festival, I said that I ended up running it. So I'm behind, this is day 3 of the festival. So I'd done the first day, there was like 50 people. Second day, there was about 60, 70 people. And the third day, there was over 150. So I'm stood behind this tree with my hat hanging on a branch of a tree. And to get myself into the state, just do, just start rising my vibration, stretching, touching my toes, just get the energy moving. And then literally, as soon as I put that on, I'm the Laughter Man. It's just like that. That's it. It's just my, I suppose, a trigger. And it's, so, and there's times, there are times where I'm like, I don't feel like laughing. Now they're the times when I need to laugh, because, there's like, I do a morning session on Clubhouse for 10 minutes on Monday to Friday. And this morning was a typical example. Last night we've put a tent up in our garden because we're selling it, and my 8-year-old saw the tent. He's like, can we have a sleepover? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So me and him went out, we had a sleepover. We didn't sleep on, like, it wasn't comfortable. I didn't sleep at all. So when it got to 8:15 this morning and I had to do my Clubhouse laughter, I was just like, I was eating my porridge. I was just like, I don't know if I don't know. And then I went up and I got onto Clubhouse, and then nobody came up into the, like, so I invite people to come up and laugh because it's the contagiousness of laughter. And it was about 5 minutes and nobody had come up. And there's only about 6 or 7 people in the, in the audience listening. And I laughed for 2 minutes solidly. I said, look, I'm just going to laugh. This is how we do it. And I explained what I'm doing during the session anyway. And I said, I'm just going to laugh now for 2 minutes. If anyone wants to come up, amazing. No one did. But those 2 minutes, I felt my energy just because of the sheer craziness of me on Clubhouse, obviously the app where and I knew these people, whatever they might have just been, I don't know, washing up or making their breakfast, just listening to me laughing to myself. I just like, it was just, you just, clocked myself. I was just like, actually, and then I came downstairs like bouncing, basically ready for the day ahead. So it's
that's a really great point, a really great example that if we could find the absurdity in our everyday lives, and that's not to make it trivial. It's not to say that anybody's life or, whatever pack they're carrying is trivial, but life can be absurd, even if it in its most basic moments. And just to find the absurdity is really kind of freeing. And not that laughter, again, equals absurdity, but sometimes you just have to look at yourself, whether you're getting, upset in traffic or, upset about even having to get up. It's kind of absurd and freeing at the same time.
Definitely. It's just like you mentioned in traffic, road rage is a killer, man. And we all suffer from it, because we're in our own little bubble. So, and then you just don't know what's going on in other people's lives. They'll cut you up or whatever, or you hit that red light. And there's an exercise called red light laughter. And so you imagine you're at the stoplight and you're in a hurry because you're trying to get it. It only happens when you're in a hurry and you can feel the energy. You just sit back, you look at the light, and you just go,
yeah,
and just start waving your finger and just laughing because you can't do anything about the red light.
No,
but you could do something about the way you feel about it. And when you do ruck up to whatever appointment that you're running late for, that you'll probably turn up on time. Or if you don't turn up on time, at least you're in a higher vibration. So the person you're waiting for is just instantly lifted. It's good.
There is a practice in general mindfulness and meditation of finding peace in the transition moments, whether you're reaching for a door or putting on your coat or changing tasks. And I find that red lights can be used as those consciousness bells, just it gives you an opportunity to stop. How often do we get that? Let alone how often are we forced to just stop and breathe? And with that in mind, you call it laughter yoga, not just you, but the practice is laughter yoga. And I think people might be surprised. Why is laughing how can you call laughter yoga? But most of everything in the practice that is not laughter, i.e. the breathing, the mindfulness, the meditation, is found in all other mindfulness and meditation practices. Can you tell us some of the different parts that you go through or focus on as part of the overall practice of laughter yoga?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, the yoga bit always, I think the word yoga puts people off,
right?
But the way I put the yoga bit about it, it's all about the breathing. In my head, it's all about taking some deep breaths. So when you're laughing, you're taking a really deep breath, because especially when you get to the uncontrollable, because you're exhaling lots of ha's and ho's and stuff. So to answer the question though, the process always starts with a bit of you warm your hands up. So I'll clap away from the mic, and you just go ho ho ha ha ha, ho ho ha ha ha, ho ho.
And you're moving your hands at the same time.
Completely, yeah, moving the hands. Okay, so then that's waking up your fingers. So you start waking up your body, and then there's another clap called where we go very good, yay. And I do this for two reasons. The one reason is when you go very good, yay, and I'm making a power pose, so my arms are up in the air. So you automatically feel empowered when you go yay. So even if you're feeling really down, you're just like, yes, I feel really upset.
Yep.
Yes. It just raises your energy. But also when we do very good, yay, it means that, especially when there's a big group of people and you're in person, it can get really quite messy in a laughing sort of way, if that makes sense. So when you go very good yay, everyone else goes very good yay, and you just bring everybody back, so then I can run the process. So that's the introduction bit, and then I just run through the different types of laughs. So we've got quite a shallow laugh, which comes from our neck. So that's more of a social laugh, where maybe we don't feel like laughing, so we're going to tap our collarbone. So if you're listening, you should be doing this as well. So we're going to tap our collarbone and we just go and if you feel that, it's quite shallow on the out breath.
But it starts to come naturally. It starts to come naturally, whether you want it to or not. Yeah.
Completely. And then the second laugh comes from the heart, and this is more of a ha. So that it's getting a bit deeper with the breath, but also where we're tapping our chest bone, I do as well. It starts blood pumping around the body, starts firing up our endorphin. So we tap our chest bone like this and we go and we breathe in. So you can feel that like you need to take that deep breath in because you're doing lots of out ha-ha-has. And then the third laugh that I like to run through is a deep belly laugh. Now, this is our Santa laugh. You know, this is where, especially where we're sat down so much nowadays, we sit on 20% of our oxygen that just doesn't get exhaled. So by holding onto our belly, and this is the proper belly laugh we're going to do. So if you hold your belly and we're going to do a long
Man, it starts to feel like you're in two places at once. One, you're at a comedy show, you know, that great feeling when you start to let go and the comedian is maybe 10 minutes into the routine. And two, the laughter aside from, say, humor or funny, it just feels like a really good exercise, you know, like tightening your abs and your chest and your shoulders and your lats. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah. Well, they say there's so many different bits of research out there, and like they take 10 minutes of laughter, it's like 15 minutes on the row machine. And it's just like, you know, when I say that, I was just like, look, what would you prefer to do? Would you prefer to laugh for 10 minutes or row for 15? You know, I know personally I would love to laugh for 10 minutes, you know. And again, if it's underneath this this one pack I have, there's definitely 6 behind underneath there.
The 6 waiting to come out.
Exactly.
It also reminds me of just in general a small smile, which is another meditation technique, or loving kindness meditation. The smile is, if you're in a bad mood, force yourself to make a smile. It might feel a little bit alien at the time, but it definitely helps with blood pressure and nerves and firing different synapses in your brain. And the loving kindness meditation is, you know, it's easy to wish people well whom we love. It's a little bit more difficult as a practice to wish people well whom we might have issues with, but that's a loving kindness meditation, is wishing well of someone you might not otherwise wish well. And it helps us. It's the opposite of, say, holding a grudge. And the old thing about holding a grudge is drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. You know, it's like it's like the opposite of that. And I tried it after we connected a couple weeks ago, just to, you know, as part of my meditation practice, and you really can feel it. So I'm wondering, what do you feel on a day-to-day basis being the practitioner and the leader? Are you reaping more benefits than anyone else?
Yeah. The simple answer is okay. Another example today. Okay. So I'm obviously run a chef agency as well. So what I'm trying to do is find chefs. Now, chefs can be quite an interesting breed. I think it's a worldwide thing. I don't think it's just the UK, where they can be quite negative. So I'm in there trying to be a little bit positive and a little bit get the conversation. And there was one guy who was a bit trolling me, really. Trolling, like, is the best way, and blood pressure like that. I was so to say, went to Chloe, my wife. I was just like, look what he said now, and she's like, and then what was funny is, like, I had another session at lunchtime, and I went into the session feeling a little bit like, okay, but then I lifted up, and then by the end of it, I was just feeling high again. So actually, yes, I do get something from it. I don't get as much as I could do. When, you know, because ultimately I'm leading the session. So when you're leading it, you're thinking, you're watching, you're just working out, right, let's use that exercise next. But there's times where I do top myself up, where I'll go to someone else's session, and then you've got to switch your mind off a little bit and try not to critique their session. You just got to just go with the process and just let yourself go. And that's really nice, because actually, A, you learn a couple of new techniques that maybe you didn't already know, and B, you just get to laugh and not talk and not think. I think that's the thing. If you're thinking, you're in the wrong headspace. When you're laughing, you're just in this I think it's the front of the brain. When you're laughing, you're just
frontal
in this,
lobe,
this space. And so the long answer is yes.
Man, that's fascinating, because overthinking it also is a symptom of adulthood. Whereas kids just act and respond, and it's amazing to see them go from one thing to the next, just not even seeking joy, just experiencing joy in the moment, as a matter of course. And we sort of condition ourselves to get away from that.
Which is crazy, isn't it? Really,
a little bit.
If you think about, I mean, it's just my son. Like again, they finished school today, so it's the last day of their school for the summer holidays, and we were reading my my boys' books, some of the stuff, and it was just like talking about school. He'd written a story about an alien going to school, and the alien then asked what was school about, and he wrote, "Oh, it's all about playing and learning." And I was like, that's really interesting that he said that, because actually, as an adult, if you asked, like, why do you go to school, it's like, well, it's to learn. Like, play doesn't even come into that concept, but actually, you know, the play bit is the important bit, because when you're playing, you can learn a lot quicker, and you actually enjoy the learning as well. So it's you know, as adults, we just don't do that. We're thrown stuff to learn, you know, and actually, if we keep our playful mind open, then actually we soak things in so much easier, especially if it's stuff that maybe is a little bit harder to take on. If you're in that playful state, I think it's important.
That reminds me of, as a musician, a lifelong musician, not professional, but for passion. You know, it reminds me of a lot of my friends who still play music, but not for money, because they have to. And it's hard to describe. It's something you just cannot get out of your blood, because it does something for you that nothing else will do. It feeds your spirit. There's fellowship in it. There's creative expression, but they really, and COVID has had a big effect on this, as it has everything else that is done in public, is they really have been just dying to get out. And early on, you know, the musicians were doing Zoom concerts and things like that, but that just gets tedious. But it's interesting that the kids see school as a source of play, a source of pleasure, and I guess we learn to sort of allow that to be pulled out of us, unfortunately. But you're kind of bringing that back into the fold. What's the community of, you called it laughter yogis, like? What kind of things are you into, or do you talk about, you know, when you talk shop?
Yeah, so I think the yogi community is very worldwide, and the stuff that we talk about, it's just, you know, like, people are definitely, we join each other's sessions quite a lot to sort of learn from each other. There's certain yogis that are better at certain ways. There's the guy called Robert Revest, who I'm like, yeah, I just think he's a mime artist, so he does mime and laughter, and he's just, you just feel him through the screen, which is really, really nice. So yeah, so I think it's, and it's very supportive as well, because we're all on this mission to bring this energy, this laughter, to as many people as we can. And, you know, there's certain people, possibly like myself, that are quite sort of not forceful is not the right word, proactive, just going, like, you know, for instance, coming on this podcast, you know, like, and getting out to your listeners to say, hey, this is a thing. And I can guarantee probably 50, maybe even more than 50% of your listeners haven't even heard of laughter yoga, didn't even know it was a thing. So it's but as a community, there's definitely a lot of, there's some really interesting stories as well, because I have a podcast where I interview laughter yogis, and my second question is, like, how's laughter helped your life? And nearly every one of them has gone through some sort of depressant. They've been on medication, they've come some sort of turmoil, whether it's losing like a big job, losing family, losing, you know, marriage, and then laughter just came to them at that point, and then just helped to lift them up from sort of where they were. So that's sort of, I suppose, the mental health side of things. It's really, really big. It's a lot of people, especially, I suppose, my vibe is very entertaining sort of laughter, but there is a really serious undercurrent when it comes to laughing, and that's what I don't think a lot of people understand.
That's fascinating, and it seems like it might be something that can help fight depression. Now, depression is a much deeper issue. Depression is not just obviously being depressed, but there's brain chemistry involved. But I would imagine that if you're at least trying to laugh, that it's doing some good, and could be a useful tool again in the fight against depression. Have you ever looked into that, or do you know anything about that? Read anything about that?
Personally, I was I went through a bit of a depressant state where, like, so I'll share the story where we borrowed some money. We borrowed $130,000 or pounds, it was, to create this app for our chef business, and it didn't take off. And spent 18 months of my life on this journey. And 7 days before Christmas, we had a letter from the company that we borrowed the money. Now, we completely naively borrowed the money on our business, started up a second business, which was against their terms. Now, they were in their right to send this letter, but again, it was 7 days before Christmas. It wasn't the best time. They wanted all the money back, or they wanted a second charge on our house. So all of a sudden, it was already sort of failing anyway as a business, because it hadn't taken the traction it needed. So I was already starting to feel a little bit on the rocks with, self-doubt, self-belief. And then all of a sudden to be, we want all this money back, and that's a big chunk of money to go and find from nowhere. I sort of went into this spiral of self-pity, self-reflection, like, just, am I good enough? What have I done to our family? How could I have done this to put everything at risk? And that February, like, we managed to get solicitors, lawyers involved, and we fought off the case, and we sort of sorted, it's paid, and it's done now. But at the time, it was really dark. My mind was really, really dark. I'd never been at that place before, and there was times where I was thinking, what am I doing here? Why? Like, really dark thoughts. And it was a case of, I remember we were on holiday in that February, and the laughter for some reason came back to me at that point. And this is back sort of 2017, I think it was. And I went and started watching some videos on YouTube to, like, just see how it worked. And I started watching some laughter videos, the laughter yoga videos, on my own. And it started to raise my vibration, because when we laugh, we get a release of endorphins, we get a release of serotonin, we get a release of dopamine. So we get all of these positive neurons going into our brain, which obviously then fight all the negative neurons that are there. So it was like a numbing experience, but it helped, because, and I'm not saying it was the complete answer, but it certainly was a good step in the right direction. And so with all these chemicals that are flying around your brain, I mean, by just laughing, if you have a full sort of 10 minutes of laughter, it can last sort of 12 hours, the after effects of it. So as long as you top up and you keep topping up, then actually, like I said, I've heard people that have come off of depressant and antidepressants through using laughter as their medicine, basically. And they say laughter is the best medicine as well. So, and I believe that.
That's really fascinating. And I think a lot of us can relate to at least one point in our lives where we've been in a similar dark place. Is there anyone perhaps this is not right for? Like any other form of therapy or whatever you want to call it, they say, well, maybe it's not right if you're not in a certain mindset. And I don't mean to make it negative, but at that point, you wouldn't think that you'd look to seek out laugh therapy or laugh yoga. And it almost seems a little trivial when it's actually the most helpful thing you could be doing. Is there any situation that you say, look, this is not right for this situation?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. But it's like any form of therapy. You've got to baby step in. You can't just go all in and just say this is the answer. But I mean, just even visualize watching a good comedian or watching a good comedy,
right?
And just that moment where you laugh out loud to yourself, you get that spike, and you know how that feels. So even if you're in this sort of dark place at the moment, we'll watch some slapstick, something that's just really stupid, silly, that tickles you, because you, like The Simpsons is a perfect example. It's just like, there's moment, and it might even just be a and that's it, but just that little lift. And but actually, if you think, well, that was like 2 seconds. Well, times that by 10 minutes, then there is magic there.
Yeah, and the energy that it brings with it, even if you're not actively laughing, that energy of knowing that you're going to be engaged with something that's positive or light or will tap into those parts of the brain that make you seek pleasure. Like you said, whether it's endorphins or dopamine. Who are some of your favorite comedians and favorite forms of comedy?
So I am a big fan of stupid comedies. Now I say stupid. My wife calls them stupid comedies. So, and they're usually like your American Pie type comedy, your Dodgeballs, so that sort of the American style. I do like those because they're I suppose just you don't have to think. You know what's coming. You know, like that's going to happen. And then in the UK, I mean, things like Monty Python.
Yeah.
I used to love Monty Python.
Me too.
Like my dad sort of brought me up on that. There's Blackadder as well. So Mr. Bean or Rowan Atkinson.
I love Mr. Bean.
Yeah. So he like in Blackadder again, it's really, really good. And The Office is. Do you know what? Any comedy I like. Some of the more sarcastic down tempo, it sometimes goes a little bit over my head where it's just like, well,
Dry.
I didn't quite get the joke, but
yeah,
it's anything, any stand-up comedy, I'll give it a go. I'll watch it. And I think it's much easier to relate to comedians from your own country, definitely, because sometimes you watch a comedian from a different country and just like, no, I don't quite get the humor, I don't understand. Or maybe they're like in jokes, aren't they, when they come to but yeah, they're definitely a few of my favorites. I'm watching there's a program on Sky One called Rob and Romesh. I don't know if you've heard of these two guys, but they're just two British comedians that are just really, really funny. I mean, Romesh, he's a Sri Lankan, and he's just so dry and just he swears, but he swears in the right way as well. Which when he says it, and I don't want to swear because I'm not sure what this podcast is all about. But
feel free.
Oh, perfect. So if someone says something to him and he's not happy, he goes, "Are you shitting me?" And I'm just like, that's just classic. It's just like you just wouldn't say that as a like genuine. So it's just anything that just makes me laugh. Again, like Chloe will go out like with the girls, or she'll take kids out to a friend's house or whatever, and she knows that I can look at my Amazon order and it's just literally silly comedy. I won't look at any drama or action. I'll just look at like what's the latest comedy, and I say like 9 times out of 10, I probably won't even enjoy it all the way because it'll just be like, it's just getting a bit slow. But there's certain films that do come out and you can watch over and over again, like Life of Brian.
Oh
classic.
My God, one of my favorites.
Absolutely. Isn't it though? It's just like, he's not coming out. He's been a very naughty boy.
Are there any women here today?
No.
I absolutely love British humor. I love the dryness, and I love when the comedy writing is so good that you almost hesitate to laugh because you're about to miss something. I don't know if you've ever seen the American comedy Veep with Julie Louis-Dreyfus. That's kind of like that. The writing is so rapid fire, but that's really on brand for you, man. You're not like oh no, when I'm not working, it's all about Black Mirror or Twilight Zone or something like that. I love it. And my wife got me into that. She, I'm like, well, we only have 2 hours to ourselves. Let's watch a super serious drama, World War II drama or something. She got, look, I work all week. I just want to laugh. And I've adopted that. It's so healthy.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's I mean, especially like I don't watch the news. I haven't watched the news for a long time. I know what's going on, man. You just go on social media, someone will tell you.
Right,
it's usually my family, to be fair, saying, "Have you heard about this?" It's like, "Oh, mum, yeah, I have. It's fine." But it's like it's all so serious that like but this is my belief. I'm not pushing on anyone, but I just believe that they're just trying to program us into this box, and actually we're not going to be able to change any of this stuff that's happening, but if we're listening to it, it's just putting us into this place which is not a healthy place. It doesn't promote any healthy activities. It just promotes worry. And I think that's the big scary thing about the whole pandemic, is that, you know, there's going to be a lot of problems, I think, in the next couple of years from just everything that's come off the back of this, really. Not the actual pandemic, not the actual COVID itself, but just the aftermath. I think it's going to be really bad.
Yeah, man. No, I totally get it. And I think what people don't realize is that social media and all this, you know, info newstainment stuff, you know, every other cable channel, it's an experiment being played on us with the goal of predictive behavior. And they're trying to, like you said, exactly like you said, they're trying to get us to a place where they can predict how we're going to behave, because then they can market back to us and they can sell that predictive behavior. People say, you know, that social media is the evil. Well, it is, but the evil is really predictive behavior. So if we're aware of what social media is doing to us and on us, and you know, with us as the lab mice, and sure, it sounds cynical, but it is. So I totally agree with you. You got to step away. I still love to read a hard newspaper, you know, hold a newspaper in my hand, because then I can interpret what the writer is trying to say without, you know, a smarmy look or an eyebrow or something like that. So, man, super fascinating. I want to let you go. I don't want to take too much of your time, but how long have you been practicing this now, and where do you see it going?
So I've been sort of full on practicing. I would say the beginning of 2019 was when I formed, like, Cann the Laughter is the name of my company. Everything's played on Cann because that's my surname. And with the surname Cann, you can't get much more positive than that, to be fair. So
mine is Smack. What's that say about me?
Yes, I'm not saying nothing. Not saying nothing. So, you know, so I've been practicing since 2019, like properly, like I say, all in. Where can I see myself? I've got visions of San Francisco, 2,000 people from stage, with Chloe in the audience, to look down at, because I'm a big visualization guy. I love visualizing because it just helps to manifest what the future I want. But just being on stage, just being on, like, so give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to quickly shut the door.
Sure, man. Yeah.
Do you want me to go from the top?
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, when you took a break, it reminded me that my cat has been out here crying to go out for the last 5 minutes. So your timing's good. Looks like he got otherwise engaged with something.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, so from San Francisco, 2,000 people, because like multiple reasons. One reason is Chloe in the audience. The second reason is Chloe's in the audience. It means our kids are at a school where we can put them into boarding just for 2 days, basically, which is a school that we're visualizing. We obviously need to make a certain amount of money to be able to put them into there. And so I see myself as the laughter in getting the energizer, the guy that comes in off the back of lunch or pre-conference, just to go get everyone's energy up. So that's one vision I have for the laughter, and just getting into corporate businesses and just lifting people's teams. That's what I do. You know, it's magic. So, you know, it's that's where I see myself, just being the laughter. I see myself at 75, just still doing the rounds, just doing it. You know, I don't think I'll be flying all over the world and stuff like that. But then, hey, you know, if someone wants me to come to a certain part of the world that I've never been, and they're willing to pay me to come, I'd love to, you know, travel again with it. And yeah, so that's where I'd love to be.
That's awesome, man. And mention the events and the speaking. There's some people I've got in mind that I think you should talk to that do that sort of thing, speaking and, you know, in front of large crowds and motivation. So yeah, I'd love to hook you up with them. But Pete, tell us about your podcast and where people can find out about you, where they can book you, where they can get in with you on Clubhouse, all that stuff.
Yeah, sure. So I've got a podcast called Laughter and Positivity with Pete, and so that's on all available podcasts, platforms, if that's what we say. So and then I've got a challenge actually, Jay. So I'd like to push people there to, if they've got something from the laughter and thought, actually this could be something that I would like to try. I've got a 5-day challenge where, and I'll send you the link so we can put it in the show notes, but basically it's 5 videos. First video's a couple of minutes and it moves up to 8 minutes at the end. I ask people to set a goal at the front end. So it could be any goal. It could be like, I just need to paint the spare bedroom, and then they laugh their way through it in the week. And I just watch their vibration lift, and they can do it any time of the day. Ideally in the morning is the best time. So that's a good place to, obviously sign up with the challenge. But the other, Clubhouse, just hashtag the laughter man. I've got to go that way actually, haven't I? Hashtag the laughter man. I'm on all social channels. But yeah, so I think, your listeners on Clubhouse it'll be like 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't know if anyone's up for laughing at 1 in the morning.
Do you ever transplant the Clubhouse stuff onto your podcast or make it available after the fact, or is it Clubhouse only?
It's Clubhouse only at the moment. So,
all right, cool.
Yeah, it's it's interesting. Clubhouse. It's a great platform. When I first got all in, and I sort of have stepped back a little bit because I just got completely consumed by it, in a good way for a point. But actually, there was other places I needed to be, like cooking dinner for the family, and it just like.
That said, do you still enjoy cooking in your off time? Not professionally. You got to still love it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
What's your specialty?
What's my speciality?
Yeah.
Do you know what? Barbecue is my specialty, and I'm a vegan as well now.
Okay.
So there's some great vegan burgers out there, and but I do like mushrooms with it's vegan cheese now with olives and basil leaves, a bit of olive oil on there. Yeah. Getting hungry now. I know my dinner's come back.
Yeah, sorry you missed dinner. Well, awesome, man.
Yeah, no, it's good. This has been so much fun, Jay. I've really enjoyed it.
I love your energy. I mean, and that's the thing, like we were talking about earlier. You're the laughter man. So when people know you're coming, they automatically probably at least start grinning to themselves. It's not, and if people think karma is not real, I say that is false, because if you're a dick, people are not going to look forward to seeing you. But if the laughter man is coming, that's karma. That's the energy that shows up before you. So
it's nice.
That's really cool, man.
Do you know what, Jay? I've had a few people say that, so it is nice, because like whenever people come onto the screen, they're like smiling already, and I'm just like, cool, brilliant.
That's
brilliant.
Amazing.
I need to be more laughter man, less chef man. The chef man makes me a bit like, just
like Gordon Ramsay.
Exactly.
Well, thank you, Pete. Yeah, man. Send me any links and stuff. I'll put those in the show notes, and I'd like to keep in touch. I'd like to talk to you real soon about hooking up with some of those people I was talking about.
That'd be amazing.
And go get a snack. You deserve it.
Fantastic. Let's finish on a laugh, Jay. Let's finish.
Let's do it.
Yeah, right. Okay, so everybody listening, then we're just going to take a nice deep breath in. We're just going to let out a long sigh. So deep breath in. We're just going to go, Okay, this time we're going to let out a long ha on an out breath. So deep breath in. We're just going to go and that's all a laugh is. It's just a ha on an out breath. Now this time we're going to take a deep breath in. We're going to hold it for 5 seconds. Wherever you are, take a deep breath in. We're holding it for 5, and then we're going to laugh for 10 seconds constantly. So take a deep breath in. Hold it, and
Oh man.
Oh, I love it.
That's it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's crazy. You feel better already, And I'm going to carry that for a couple hours, I hope.
It's amazing. It's so easy.
I know. That's the thing. Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah. It's so easy. Well, easy to do, but you're leading it. So thank you.
My pleasure.
Cool. Pete Cann, thanks, man.
No worries, Jay. Take care of yourself, mate.
That guy, what I said about energy and your energy preceding you, and also following behind you. It's absolutely true. You can imagine when you're known as the Laughter Man that people look forward to seeing you and being around you and sharing your energy. Well, what Pete teaches is that anybody can have that. It's a mindset, it's a practice like anything else. So I urge you to go online and find out about him. Check out his podcast, Laughter and Positivity with Pete. Again, all those links will be in the show notes. Thank you very much for your time, attention, and intention today. Go check out Pete and any of the guests and any of the back episodes. If you would be so kind as to leave a review, share, subscribe to the podcast, et cetera, it all helps. But thank you very much once again for your time, attention, and intention. And I'll see you next time here on the Good Eye Podcast.